Welcome everyone to the light of Zion. The light of Zion is our God's word. Yahuwah's word is a lamp for our feet and a light for the road that we travel. Shine your light, O Yahuwah. Let it lead us to your holy mountains. Shine your light, O Yahuwah. Let it lead us back to Zion. Shine your light and let it guide us on our journey back to you. Shine your light, for it is good for me. And with that, I say, welcome to the light of Zion. Hello and welcome again to the presentations coming from the light of Zion. I'm glad you were able to join me again for another presentation. I hope you are enduring. I hope you are putting up the fight for the faith. Because as you are awakened, you must keep in mind the words of our leader, Yahushua. He said when he said that narrow is the road leading back into life, and only few are the ones finding it. But broad is the way leading off into destruction, and many are following that road. But narrow is the road or the gate leading into life, that will lead us to life. So I'm glad that you are following this narrow road to find the way to lead you to life. So join me as we consider today's presentation. And this one is titled, 3 Most Important Things That You Must Do as You Wake up. Yes, 3 most important things that you must do as you wake up. As you wake up to your origin. The 3 most important things that you must do as you wake up to your origin. But the question is, what is your origin? Many do not know who they are, or many have been awakened as to know that they are really the Israelites, that they are the descendants of Israel. And many has, after being told so many lies for so many years by our enemies as to who we are, but you may have been awakened as to your true origin, to your root as the people of Israel. So in the book of Hosea chapter 1 verse 10, there it is written, and the number of the people of Israel will be like the grain of the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. And in the places where it was said to them, you are not my people, it will be said to them, the sons of the living God. So it was foretold by our God that in many lands where Israel were scattered, that we are going to multiply as the sand of the sea. And in these many nations where we are scattered, many of us will be told that we are not the people of God, because other people today are claiming our identity, because other people have taken over our land of inheritance and divided it up among themselves, and they are now telling us that we are not the people of the book. But it was foretold that in these lands where we have been scattered, that we will be told that you are the sons of the Most High God. You are the sons of the living God. Yes, you have to awaken to your origin. You have to do the research. You have to search the books. You have to look to know your ancestral origin until you have been awakened. So, these are the three most important things that you must do once you are awakened to your origin. And we are going to break them down as we go through this presentation. In the book of Ephesians chapter 5 verse 14, there it is written, it said, therefore it is said, awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Yahushua will shine his light upon you. So if you are still seeking, or if you are still searching to know your origin, or if you are still doubting as to who you are, or not awakened as to who you are, I have made other videos to help you to awaken to your true origin as an Hebrew Israelite. If you search my channel, The Light of Zion, go through our videos and you will find one of the video there is to how to awaken to your root as a Hebrew Israelite. If you check our website, https:// you will find one of these videos that will help you to awaken as to your true origin as a Hebrew Israelite. So once you have been awakened as to who you are, as to your origin, these are the three most important things that you must do. So it's written, awake, O you sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Yahushua will shine his light upon you. Israel, we were once asleep. We are regarded as dead, as not a people. We were regarded as not a people. We were put to death as a nation, but we are now being revived by our God. Yes, we are now being resurrected or awakened by our God. Therefore it is written, awake you that has been sleeping in the grave. Say, awake from the dead. It is for you, Israel, that this message was addressed. He said, and Yahushua, that is our leader and our king, he will shine his light upon you once we awaken to our origin as to who we are, the people of God. He said, then Yahushua will shine his light upon you. He will show us the way to walk. He will show us the way to go. He will lead us back to the promised land. So these are the three most important things that you must do once you awaken. The number one thing to do once you are awakened is this. So you must seek Yahuwah, the God of your forefathers. Yes, you must seek Yahuwah, the God of your forefathers. We ought to have no other gods than Yahuwah our God. And the times that have passed while we are asleep or while we are dead as a nation, and letting other people of the nations teach us and lead us astray is enough. So we are to return now that we are awakened to seeking Yahuwah our God and the God of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So we are to return to seeking our God, our own God, and not the gods of the nations. The time when we are in ignorance, when we are asleep, when we are dead as a people, and don't know who we are, is enough. But it's time for us to do what? To return to calling on the name of Yahuwah our God, the God of our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In the book of Hosea, chapter 6, verse 1 and 2, there it is written, say, come and let us return to Yahuwah, for he has torn us to pieces, but he will heal us. He struck us, but he will bind our wounds. He will revive us after 2 days, and on the 3rd day he will raise us up, and we will live before him. So Yahuwah encouraged us to do what? To return to Yahuwah our God, to return to seeking Yahuwah our God. Because yes, he tore us to pieces. He scattered us among the nations. He put us to death as a nation. But now that we are awakened, or being awakened, so we are to return to Yahuwah our God. Because he promised that he will punish us for 2 days, but then he will raise us back up on the 3rd day. So that is why we are, once you are awakened, to return to seeking for Yahuwah, the God of your forefathers. In the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6 to 7, there it is written, for I am Yahuwah, I do not change. And you are the sons of Jacob, you have not come to your finish. From the days of your forefathers, you have turned aside from my regulations and have not kept them. Say, return to me, and I will return to you, says Yahuwah of armies. So Yahuwah said that from the days of our forefathers, we have not kept his regulations. We have turned away from them. But he said we have not come to our finish. He said he does not change. But we must do what? Return to him if we want to live. And he will return to us. So, number one thing to do after you are awakened is to do what? Return to seeking and calling on the name of Yahuwah, the God of your forefathers. Yes, we must all do this if we want to do what? To live. So we are to leave the gods given to us by the peoples of the nations and return to calling and seeking on the name of Yahuwah our God. Our ancestors promised our God that we are to serve no other God except Yahuwah our God. That is what they agreed to. So we must return back to that agreement to have no other God but Yahuwah as our God. In the book of Exodus chapter 20, verse 1 to 5, there it is written, so then God spoke all these words. I am Yahuwah your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. So you must not have any other gods beside me, and you must not make for yourself a carved image or a form like anything that is in the heavens above, or on the earth below, or in the waters under the earth. So you must not bow down to them or be enticed to serve them. For I, Yahuwah your God, I am a God who requires exclusive devotion, bringing punishment for the error of the fathers upon the sons, and upon the third generation and fourth generation of those who hate me. So that was the agreement that our ancestors entered with Yahuwah our God, that we must not have any other God beside Yahuwah as our God. But our ancestors did not keep their part of the bargain. And that's why Yahuwah brought the punishment that he said he's going to bring upon the third generation and upon the fourth generation of the people of Israel. So, yes, Yahuwah has brought this punishment because we left him to go and serve other gods. But now that you are awakened, you must return to seeking Yahuwah, the God of your forefathers. Yes, we must return to seeking Yahuwah, the God of our forefathers, and he is our God. In the book of Acts chapter 2 verse 21, there it is written, and everyone who calls on the name of Yahuwah will be saved. So we must return to what? Seeking and to know our God and his plan for all Israel. So every one of Israel who return after all these punishments and after we have been awakened, everyone who returned to call on the name of Yahuwah will be saved or salvaged from among the nations. Yes, so that is the number one reason why we must, number one thing that we must do once we have been awakened from the dead, or once we have been awakened to our origin. In the book of Isaiah chapter 65 verse 8 to 10, there it is written, this is what Yahuwah says, just as when a new wine is found in a cluster of grapes, and someone says, do not destroy it, for there is some good in it. So I will do for the sake of my servants. I will not destroy them all. I will bring out of Jacob an offspring, and out of Judah the one to inherit my mountains. So my chosen ones will take possession of it, and my servants will reside there. So Sharon will become a pasture for sheep, and the valley of Achor, a resting place for cattle, for my people who searched for me. For my people who search for me. So yes, Yahuwah said he's not going to do what? Destroy all Israel because of our error. But he's going to do what? Take out of Jacob and out of Israel a remnant. Those who will return back after our punishment end among the nations. He's going to take out a remnant that will return and inherit his holy mountains. And these ones will be his people who search for him. So the number one thing to do after you are awakened is to return to seek Yahuwah, the God of your forefathers. For those who return to calling on Yahuwah and searching for Him are the ones that will return and take possession of our God's holy mountain. So Israel descendants who will listen in these last days and return to seeking and calling on the name of Yahuwah will become like a new wine that is found among a cluster of grapes. So these ones our God will salvage from the destruction and extermination that is coming. That is a reason to seek Yahuwah as you wake up. Seek to know Yahuwah, the God of your forefathers. For in the book of Isaiah chapter 10 verse 21 to 23 there is written, only a remnant will return, the remnant of Jacob, to the mighty God. For though your people, O Israel, are as the grain of the sand of the sea, only a remnant will return. An extermination has been decided on, and justice will engulf them. Yes, the extermination decided on by the sovereign Lord Yahuwah of armies will be carried out in the entire land. So Yahuwah already knows or know that only a remnant will listen. Only a remnant will listen. The remnant of Jacob will be few. Even though the people of Israel will multiply as the grain of the sand of the sea, only a remnant will listen and return to seeking for Yahuwah, the God of their forefathers. For he already said an extermination has been decided on, and justice will engulf the people of Israel. So will you be among the remnant that will return to calling on and seeking the name of seeking Yahuwah, the God of your forefathers? That will mean salvation for you. So that is the number one thing to do once that you have been awakened as to your origin of who you are. Now let's consider what is the number two thing to do once you have been awakened as to your origin. Well, you have to seek Yahushua, our leader and Savior King to be. Yes, you have to seek Yahushua and our leader King to be, the one that our God Yahuwah has given to Israel to lead all Israel. You must seek for Yahushua to guide you, to lead you. It was foretold that after our punishment is over among the nations, that both the house of Israel, the northern kingdom, and the house of Judah, the southern kingdom, will awaken, be unified, and seek for our one leader. And that our one leader is Yahushua. And then we will go out from the lands of our captivities. So these are the things that was foretold that we must do. We must awake, and then seek for our one leader. Yahuwah has given us but one leader to lead all Israel, to unify all Israel. And that leader is Yahushua, our King to be. In the book of Hosea chapter 1 verse 10 to 11, and there is written, and the number of the people of Israel will be like the grain of the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured or numbered. And in the places where it was said to them, you are not my people, it will be said to them, the sons of the living God. And the people of Judah and of Israel will be gathered together into unity, and will choose for themselves one head, and go out of the land, for great will be the day of Jezreel. Yes, it was foretold that the people of Israel, after we have borne punishment for our error, we unite together as one people again. But we are going to seek for our one head, that is our one leader. And that leader is Yahushua, the one to lead all Israel. Yahushua means Yah is our salvation. He is the one chosen by our God, Yahuwah, to save and to lead all Israel, all of Jacob's descendants. He is the one to lead all of us. So now that you have been awakened to your origin, you must also start seeking for Yahushua, our leader and our king. In the book of Acts chapter 3 verse 21 to 23, there it is written or foretold concerning the Messiah, our leader. He said, heaven must hold this one within itself until the times of restoration of all things, of which God spoke through the mouth of the holy prophets of old. In fact, Moses said, Yahuwah your God will raise up for you from among your brothers a prophet like me. So you must listen to whatever he tells you. Indeed, anyone who does not listen to that prophet will be completely destroyed among the people. So heaven must hold Yahushua, our leader, within itself until the appointed time for restoring all things that our God has promised to Israel. So, but we must seek for this leader now that we have been awakened. As foretold, all Israel will unite together as one. And we must seek for our one leader, Yahushua, to lead us, to guide us. So we must listen to this prophet, which Moses said that God will raise for us. So anyone who does not listen or follow this leader will be what? Cut off from among the people. That means such a person will be exterminated or put to death. He will no longer be an Israelite if you do not accept and follow this leader that Yahuwah our God has given to us. Yes, such a person will be cut off from among the people of Israel. So now that you have been awakened, you must seek to know and understand the teachings of our leader, Yahushua. You must follow him as our leader and no one else. So seek to know and understand Yahushua, our leader, by studying his recorded teachings in the Bible. Yes, by studying his recorded teachings in the Bible, you will get to know him, because he has taught so many things when he was here on earth, of what things he revealed about the Father, what the Father is doing. So you must seek Yahushua also as you seek Yahuwah our God. So Yahushua is the one to give you light and understanding of what our God is accomplishing on earth. Yes, he is the one to give you light and understanding of what Yahuwah our God is accomplishing on the earth. In the book of John chapter 8 verse 12, there it is written, Then Yahushua spoke again and said to them, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me we by no means walk in darkness, but we possess the light of life. So yes, Yahushua is the light of the world. He is the one to give us light. Understanding of what our Father is doing. Understanding of what our Father is accomplishing on the earth. He is the one to give you understanding of what our God is doing. But you have to today read through the books, the Bible, the recorded teachings of the Messiah, and exercise faith in Him. And at the appointed time, He will do what? Guide us. He will lead us back to the promised land. The book of John chapter 6 verse 44 to 47, there it is written, "No man can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will resurrect him on the last day." It is written in the prophets, "They will all be taught by Yahuwah. Everyone who has listened to the Father and has learned, come to me. Not that any man has seen the Father except the one who is from God. So this one has seen the Father. Most truly I say to you, whoever believes has everlasting life." So Yahushua, our leader, said it clear. Said no one of Israel can come to him unless the Father has chosen them. Unless He has drawn you or has chosen you. And He said those ones are the ones He will raise back up in the last day. So now that you have been awakened, you must seek to know Yahuwah your God. And Yahuwah your God will teach you of what He's doing with His people of Israel and what He wants accomplished on the earth. And after you have been taught, Yahuwah your God will lead you to the Messiah, Yahushua, the one to lead all Israel, to accomplish the will of our Father in heaven. So yes, you must seek Yahuwah, and you must seek to understand and to know the Son, for the Son to give you light. For you cannot come to the Messiah unless the Father has chosen you. So, after the chosen prophets, after the death of the chosen prophets of the first century, the people of the nations, they came into this faith. After the apostles died, they changed and translated His name, the name of our Messiah, to Jesus Christ. Yes, they translated it to be Jesus Christ, but He is Yahushua, meaning Yah is salvation. They changed the meaning and the purpose of His coming to earth to include salvation for everyone of every nation. So these are the things the people of the nations have done. But our God will reveal these things to you as you search through the scriptures and as you seek for Him. And His Son also will reveal this to you. The changes that the nations or the people of the nations have done. In the book of Matthew chapter 15 verse 24, there is written, Yahushua answered and said, I was not sent to anyone except to the lordship of the house of Israel. So, for what reason was He sent to the lordship of the house of Israel? What was he sent for? In the book of John, chapter 1, verse 32 to 33, there is written, said this concerning the Messiah. He said, this one will be great, and will be called the Son of the Most High God. And Yahuwah God will give him the throne of David his father, and he will rule as king over the house of Jacob forever, and there will be no end to his kingdom. So, Yahushua is the one to find and to gather the lost descendants of Israel and rule over them at the appointed time of the end. That is why he was sent. That is why he was sent. So we must seek Yahushua, our leader and our Savior King to be, and follow him by studying and searching through the records to know the things that he has taught. So Yahushua is the one to send to gather all Israel descendants together, both the northern kingdom and both the southern kingdom. He is the one to gather all Israel descendants together, and he is the one to lead all of Israel descendants. So we must unite, come together in unity, and then seek for him to lead us at the appointed time. Yes, he is the one to lead us out of the lands of our captivities at the appointed time. So we must all come together as one, as the people of us, to our origin, who we are, and wait for our leader and our king to return to do what? To serve Israel and to rebuild Israel. So we must do this. And the number 3 things to do now that you have been awakened as to your origin is this: seek to know the appointed times of Yahuwah our God. Yes, seek to know the appointed times of Yahuwah our God. Now that you are awakened from the sleep or from dead as a nation, so you should seek to gain knowledge of the appointed times by our God, and set up road markers for yourself. So if you know the appointed times of things that God has said must take place, you set these appointed times as road markers for yourself, so that you can be ready and in line, in tune with what your God is doing. So that is why you must seek to know the appointed times of Yahuwah our God. In the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1 to 3, there is written, for there is an appointed time for everything, a time for every activity under the heavens, a time for birth and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what was planted, uproot what was planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build up. So there is an appointed time for everything. God has set an appointed time for when to tear down Israel and when to build Israel back up, when to plant Israel and when to uproot Israel. God has an appointed time that he has set for all these activities. But we must study and we must seek to know these appointed times by our God. And our God will reveal them to you as you search for him, as you seek to know him and his Son and what he's doing. He will reveal these appointed times for you. So Yahuwah has set an appointed times for everything that he has said that must be done. But it is for us, his servants, to search them out and get ready and observe the time for their fulfillment. In the book of Hosea chapter 6 verse 1 and 2, there is written, say, come and let us return to Yahuwah, for he has torn us to pieces, but he will heal us. He struck us, but he will bind our wounds. He will bind our wounds. He will revive us after 2 days. On the 3rd day he will raise us up, and we will live before him. So our God never does anything without revealing to his servant what he is doing. So he promised that he will punish Israel, struck Israel for 2 days. But then he will do what? Bind our wound. He will revive us after 2 days, and we will live before him. So we must search out those appointed times by our God and set them as road markers of what our God is doing. So after 2 days or 2,000 years of punishment for all Israel, after 2,000 years punishment for all Israel has passed, Yahuwah will show mercy and will restore the chosen remnant of Israel and Judah, or Israel and Judah descendants. That is what our God has revealed. In 2 Peter chapter 3 verse 8, Peter reminded us that a day without God is like 1,000 years. So when he said that he will punish us for 2 days, that is for 2,000 years, Israel will be a punishment for our error. But then after that, he will do what? He will raise us back up, and we will live before him. So we need to know these appointed times and search out and set them as road markers as to what our God is doing with us, so that we can know where we are in the stream of time and what is coming next and what is we are to look forward to next. So study and set up road markers for yourself. In the book of Jeremiah chapter 31 verse 21, there is written, says, set up road markers for yourself and put up signposts. Say, pay attention to the highway, the way that you have to go. Say, return, O Virgin of Israel, return to these cities of yours. So we are asked to do what? Set up road markers, timetable. You have to keep these time schedules, so that we should do what? Pay attention to the highway that we are to go. And then know when it's time for us to do what? To get ready to return back to the promised land, to return to our cities. If you are not setting up road markers, if you are not following the road markers of our God or his signposts, and not setting up signposts for yourself, you will not know what your God is doing. And if you don't know what your God is doing, you will not be prepared. You'll be caught off guard. So that's why you must seek to know the appointed times of Yahuwah, our God. You set up road markers for yourself and put up signposts. As you seek Yahuwah, your God, and you seek for your Yahushua, your leader, he will reveal these appointed times to you, so that you can be ready for what is coming next. So know the appointed times. Watch out for the appointed times. Know when to get ready for the return back to the promised land and to the kingdom of our God. So these are the three things that we must do now that we have been awakened to our origin. So know Yahuwah, the God of your forefathers, is the number one thing. Know Yahushua and seek Yahushua, the one appointed to lead all Israel. And then seek to know the appointed times of Yahuwah our God. So I hope this brings enlightenment to you and gives you direction as to what you should be doing now that you have been awakened. It is sad to point out that even in our being awakened, some will continue to do what? In their bad ways, to mislead and to continue to follow the nations on the broad way that is leading off to destruction. But those who will return to enter the narrow gate, the narrow road, in order to seek to return back to the promised land, those are the remnant of Israel that will be preserved alive. I hope you are one of those seeking walking on that narrow road. Remain in it, for soon our King will return in order to guide us back to the promised land. So until I come to you next time, peace and remain blessed. Thank you.